I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Councilman Hutchins.
Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity we have to be together as a city council to discuss your business. We just ask you to give us wisdom and knowledge in each of the city's things that we need to look at. And we just praise you and thank you. And I ask this all in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
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 Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis.
Present.
Hutchins.
Present.
Candia. Mayor Pro Tem Martina.
Present.
Mayor Caton.
Present. Thank you. Item 5, declaration of conflicts of interest. Seeing none, go to item 6, ceremonial matters. I believe we have any this evening. Item 5, items from the public, non-agenda item. Now is time for a member of the public wish to address the council. Now is the time to do it. Seeing none, go to item 8, consent calendar. A is waive all readings of ordinances, resolutions set by title. B is approval of the warrants. C is approval of the minutes of the October 8, 2013 meeting. Council direction?
I move we accept this consent calendar as read.
I second that motion.
And a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, public hearing. A is first reading of and introduction of ordinance number 2013, next to number, an ordinance amending Title IV Building Regulations of the City of Newman Code incorporating the California Code of Regulations Title 24, 2013, addition of the California Building Standards Code. Michael.
Thank you, Mayor. And unfortunately, our building official could not make it tonight. This is actually a continued public hearing from our October 8, 2013 meeting, whereby Councilmember Hutchins had asked that staff do some research to see if we can use our administrative process as part of this new building code regulations. We did work with our city attorney on that, and we were able to add some language that Councilmember Hutchins had requested. Any violation of this chapter may be alternatively charged as an administrative citation. It's as opposed to just solely being a misdemeanor. So that means the city staff has the opportunity to do either or. We still retain the ability to charge it as a misdemeanor, or alternatively, we can use the administrative citation process. I believe that's consistent with the last code change that we did that Councilmember Hutchins had referred to. So, with that, the rest of the building regulations as presented at our last meeting stand. And with that, I can answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions of Michael? If not, open the public hearing. Member of the public wish to address the council regarding this issue? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to council.
I'd just like to say thank you to the city manager and staff for, and the city attorney for giving us that, or finding out that we can use that option, because I think it'll be a much more viable one as we go down the road.
Thank you. Okay, council direction.
I'd make a motion that we introduce ordinance 2013, next in number, an ordinance amending Title IV Building Regulations of the Newman City Code, incorporating the California Code of Regulations Title 24, 2013 edition of the California Building Standards Code.
I second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 10 is regular business. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I failed to report out of our closed session. On item A, there's no direction taken by council. However, on item B, conference with legal counsel pending litigation, MCI Engineering, one case, Government Code 54956.9. The council has authorized staff a settlement of $32,500, and that would be close out that case. Okay. Any questions? All right. I'm sorry I failed to do that, but now back on to item 10A. First reading and introduction of ordinance number 2013, next number, ordinance amending Title 8, Health and Sanitation, Chapter 8.05, Administrative Citation, Section 8.05.10, applicability of the Newman Municipal Code.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. As we did our research with the request from Councilman Hutchins on our last item, the Building Standards Code and use of the administrative citation process, we found that when the administrative citation process was originally adopted in '06, there included a provision under applicability. The administrative citation process set forth in this chapter does not apply to continuing violations of this code that pertain to building, plumbing, electrical, and other similar structural or zoning issues. So what we're asking you now to do is, as we move forward with the building code and using the administrative citation, we would like to amend the administrative citation process, section 8.05.10, applicability of the set forth in the Newman City Code, and strike section B. The administrative citation process set forth in this chapter does not apply to continuing violations of this code that pertain to building, plumbing, electrical, and other structure and zoning codes, and that's at the recommendation of our city attorney.
Okay. Any discussion, questions of the city manager?
So Mayor, the recommendation tonight is to move forward and conduct the first reading and introduce the ordinance, and then at our next meeting, which I believe is November 12th, we will have the public hearing and the second reading, if the council so elects to move forward.
Other 12.
Council direction, question?
November 12th.
I so move that the city council conduct a first reading and introduction ordinance number 2013, next number, amending Title 8 Health and Sanitation, Chapter 8.05, Administration Citation, Section 8.05-10, applicability of the Newman Municipal Code. And
I'll
then
second that motion.
There's been a motion and a second. Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Do you need November 12th in there?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you.
I was going to make that motion a little bit longer. You guys walked right on top of it.
You were working on it. Item B is first reading and introduction of ordinance number 2013, next number, an ordinance amending Title 5 zoning and accompanying zoning maps of the city of Newman. Michael?
Good evening.
Oh, I'm sorry, Stephanie. I'm sorry.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you is the first reading of ordinance number 2013, next in number, that would approve zone change 1301, amending the planned development designation of the villas at Sherman Ranch. The villas at Sherman Ranch are a high-density detached residential development in the northeast portion of town. The villas are zoned planned development. The purpose of a planned development is to allow a diverse development which would not be possible under a traditional zoning designation. Planned developments allow flexibility in project design, density, and uses, as long as they're consistent with the general plan. In 2005, the City Council approved ordinance number 2005-2, rezoning the project area from R3 to planned development. Subsequently, 32 homes were built under that designation and sold. Let's see here. As you can see in the aerial photo, that's where the development occurred in the project site. Unfortunately, with the housing downturn, development did slow and eventually stopped at this area. They're not actively building or selling any homes at the moment. Given the current economic circumstances, the developer has analyzed the project and determined that its current form is no longer marketable or feasible, and their zone change, thus they submitted their zone change request. They'd like to amend the the planned development designation for the remaining lots, which would be all of those areas without homes on there. Amendments include a new layout, wider lots, the elimination of 18 lots, so a reduction in density, replacement of the two-story configurations with one-story units, and utilizing alleys instead of paseos. If you look at the original layout, you can see that it was a grid pattern that would actually flip over. So they were all identical, and they would flip over from block to block. And they would utilize these walk-through paseos so people can access their homes. These particular units were kind of unique because this was a garage. The front of the home was actually based on the paseo. So that was particularly difficult to market, as they found out after the planned development was approved. The proposed layout will be a melding of the two, because you have your existing and then the proposed. As you can see, the proposed is a little less dense, but still higher density. And the paseos will be converted to alleys. So it will be alley-loaded garages, so you would see just the frontage of homes along the streets, except for the corner lots where they do have some garage entries on the corners. On August 1st of this year, the Architectural Review Committee conditionally approved the project's new architecture. These are the samples. These are just the typical street scenes. So this is a sample of what you would see from the alley. And this is a second story option over the garage. It could be a den, it could be a man cave, it could be a playroom. So, you know, that's how that would look. And then this is like the corner lots where you would see the houses. And the front. This is the front of the home with the garage addition. One of the concerns of the Architectural Review Committee was this is a whole lot of wall. That's why they conditionally approved the elevations. They just want a few more details to kind of help break up some of that elevation. But they did generally agree with the new concept. And even though this isn't part of architectural review, just wanted to show the floor plans of the new units. So these are the corner lots, and these are what the interior lots will look. The nice thing about the new configuration is they can actually flip these, so it does allow for a little bit more customization for the buyer. They can kind of maybe choose a different plan depending on the lot that they want. On August 15th, the Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the zone change to the City Council. All environmental review requirements were met in the general plan EIR. Staff has provided the City Council with the Planning Commission staff report if you desired some additional technical information on the project. In conclusion, the proposed plan development revisions are compatible with the residential use, but are technically inconsistent with the general plan high-density designation. It's a little shy. Minimum is 12 units per acre for general plan high density. I believe they're 10.3. They're just barely there. However, when the project was originally approved in 2005, that area was zoned R3 and was designated planned mixed residential in the 1992 general plan. In fact, our current general plan simply identifies that area based on this plan development. It was changed to high density because that was what was approved and on the file. Let's see here. The proposed reconfiguration provides a variety of housing options and designs. Although substantially different from the original project, staff believes it is consistent with the original project's intent and will provide more housing options in the community. Therefore, staff recommends that the City Council consider approval of the zone change and hold the first reading of ordinance number 2013 next to number. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Stephanie, just for clarification on the illustration, the site illustrating is the color one, this one.
Oh, okay.
Along Hills Ferry Road, and just some discussion, the back of the houses are going to be facing Hills Ferry, correct?
No. In this particular area, and I'm sorry if I misspoke when I was talking about the alleys, the garages are here, so the houses will actually front along Hills Ferry.
Okay.
We had a sound survey submitted. We required that they do a new one. And the attenuations will be, they have special glass along all these windows. Plus, they do meet the minimum setbacks. In fact, I believe some of them are actually going to sit back a little farther back than what the current plan development allows for.
Okay.
So there will be no access from Hills Ferry. These are actually like a path. This will be stubbed out. The only access here, I believe, is like emergency access. It's not a through access point.
They'd be like similar that what's on the
Orchard Hills?
Yes.
Yes, it'll be
Okay.
similar to that.
Okay.
And how far is the setback?
I want to say 15 feet. I'd have to double check. the
15
file.
feet?
I believe.
Thank you.
I could double check for you like, in the file.
With okay, I think that answers my question. Any other questions or comments?
The developer couldn't be here tonight. They wanted to send their regards. They had a conflict in their schedule.
But they're legal representatives here.
I think that's dangerous.
Okay.
Rod, any comments?
I can make a quick introduction.
Sure.
and answer your questions.
Sure.
I haven't been before you, so I thought I'd take the opportunity on behalf of SCM Homes and Villas LLC. Rod Atterbury with the law firm of Newman and Beardsley, 509 West Weber, Stockton, California, 95209. Both the developer and their marketing and finance director are out of town. Did apologize, as staff indicated, for not being here, but did send me down to make an introduction and answer any questions if possible. I think staff's done an excellent job. We take the recommendation from the Planning Commission and are looking forward to a product that will sell, is marketable, and maybe meets the trends of the new market that's looking forward by still meeting the high density that I think is being preferred in this community as well as statewide. So I'm here to answer any questions if you have any, but look forward to the second reading and your approval.
Any questions, Mr. Atterbury? No? Thanks, Rod.
Thank you.
I'll bring it back to council. I think the only question I had, and maybe time is going to tell, is the fronting of the homes onto Hills Ferry. It's such a heavily traveled road. Obviously, my concern is families that move in there with kids. The close proximity is to Hills Ferry Road. So that's why I was just curious if there's going to be any kind of fencing or anything that might protect those homes from the roadway.
Trying to see if you look at the original layout, these houses actually faced Hills Ferry. I'm trying to see here. Fencing, I think the concern with fencing for this particular development would be that it would close it in, and I think they're trying to provide a more open type of neighborhood. Given the setbacks that they're proposing, you can see the existing homes here, and the new ones are farther back than this one that's currently built. Plus with the sound attenuations, plus with, they have increased outdoor space. They all have a little, I forgot what they called it, but like a little patio area that's a little larger than what these homes have. I think that they're planning that people would maybe utilize their internal space, possibly that over garage unit and their little patio area. Given the sizes of these, I believe their marketing direction is probably not towards larger families, but maybe younger families with tinier children or possibly empty nesters. I mean, obviously, I'm not too involved with the marketing aspect.
Well, yeah, and that's fine. You know, those kids grow up. I guess my concern is exactly what we're dealing with on Canal School right now. We got a sound wall there, and that doesn't make the residents happy because cars go blasting through them. And that's my only concern is just what the safety factor is with cars coming westbound on Hills Ferry Road into town. Even though the speed limit is 35, we all know that not every car travels 35 through there. And even with a sound wall, I mean, cars have proven to go through those on Canal School Road. So I don't know. I'm just curious, and none of us can read what future is. And hopefully those people who buy those homes and move into there will understand, and obviously just by seeing that there is no fence, there is no wall, there is no protection between the roadway and their homes. I guess, you know, if they came in later and said, well, how come we don't have that? And I guess we'd say, well, because the developer didn't want to put one in, and it met all the specifications of their subdivision, I guess.
Mayor, what we can do is, we can work with the developer. I know you're probably not the only council member with these concerns. We can voice these concerns to the developer, and maybe we can come up with some kind of resolution that allows these to stay open, but we can put some kind of, I don't know if it's a bollard or a tree, or maybe there's something that we can do to enhance the safety without closing it off.
Yeah. And I think if we talk to them, and maybe they've given it some thought, maybe they haven't given any thought. And I think it'd be worth our time and effort, at least to fill it out and see what their thought is on it.
If this council so desires, we can voice those concerns to the developer on that. If that's
Well,
something that.
And going along with what Mayor Caton has said, and understanding that a sound wall, if the if you're only got a 15-foot setback, a sound wall would probably be too close, but, you know, with some type of buffer, whether it be, you know, a wrought iron fencing that looked nice or something like that, but something that would buffer Hills Ferry from the front of these homes. I have 3 small grandchildren, and they run out in the street. Fortunately, I live on a cul-de-sac, but if you're looking for, if you're thinking, or as Stephanie was saying, if they're thinking families with small children, then I would worry more about that than I would worry about families with older children.
And Councilmember, if I'm hearing you correctly, and tell me if I'm not, there's concern due to some of our experiences with Canal School Road for safety issues. It's not necessarily a sound attenuation issue, because that's kind of been addressed through the study.
Well, that is for me, because all the homes on Canal School are all backyards. Those homes face the inside, and, well, we've had 2, 3 cars.
So safety.
For me, it's safety, and certainly I don't want to take away from, I like the idea, and I even like the idea more that there's not going to be empty lots out there. But for me, it's more of a safety thing, just because, you know, we've been fortunate on Hills Ferry. We've not had any accidents along there, have we, Chief, so far?
Not in the area that you're talking
Okay.
about. It is a wider lane of travel
Yeah,
than
it
Canal
is.
School. It's a straighter lane of travel than Canal School in the particular area that you're discussing. So the safety aspects, obviously there could be an accident there, anything.
And it's a wider road. There's a lot more distance between the curb and the westbound lane also.
Correct. The westbound lane would be the north side of it. That lane of travel is fairly wide.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers offhand, but it is larger than an average lane of travel.
I would estimate probably the edge of the travel lane, even though it's not striped, is in excess of 20 or 30 feet from the curb line.
I would say it's even greater than that.
I would say it's close to 50.
I would say it's great, yeah, approximately
Yeah.
50 feet.
So the travel lane there are some design differences between this one and Canal School
There is.
Road.
Yeah. I think it's still worth having some conversation.
You got it.
And let's just see what the mindset is of the
Well, as I
developer.
recall, though, on the north side, the north side over off of the Splendido Court, don't they have some wrought iron in there, or didn't they have some wrought iron in their fencing?
They had some model homes. These were some model homes, and I think they may have had some temporary fencing. In fact, they had some wood fencing all along here, and they removed it. They've opened it all up recently.
Well, and also we talked about the wrought iron. We had some issue with the wrought iron along our park. We ended up taking
We've
that
had 2
fence
times.
out.
We
Yeah.
replaced it
Right.
once, and then we went again, and
We took it out.
we took it out. You know, a short wall would make more sense. I mean, it doesn't have to be a sound wall. It was 4 feet high or whatever.
3 feet, just.
Yeah, I mean,
anything
it would look good, and it would provide protection. I don't know.
Let us talk to the developer
Yeah.
and see if we
Okay.
can come up with a solution that is workable with both parties.
So I guess my next question is then, do we hold off on until they've had that discussion?
You could introduce the ordinance and then see what the discussion is in the interim.
Because that's the
Or-
second reading.
Yeah, it has to go to a second reading on the 12th.
We scheduled the public hearing for the second reading.
You could, if you still had issues, you could conceivably continue that public hearing to see if you could iron things out later.
Well, I just think it's worth having that discussion with them, and maybe they have a kind of a plan or whatever, but let's just have that discussion, so.
Sure enough.
Okay, so I'll bring it then for council direction with the understanding that there's going to be discussion with the developer by staff, and if need be, we can always continue.
The public hearing?
Yep.
Yeah, this item is also, again, the public hearing is scheduled for November 12th.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got, I would then make a motion on the first reading and introduction of ordinance number 2013, next in number, an ordinance amending Title V zoning and accompanying zoning maps of the city of Newman. Now, this strictly is adjusting the zoning. It is not having anything to do with the development, correct?
Well, it's amending the PD. A PD is a specific way of developing a piece of property, and that's the way they were originally zoned, is a PD, which is very specific to that pull-apart method. So they're amending the PD, which is its own zone district, and now saying, okay, this is what the lotting pattern is going to look like. And having some discussions, and I know our legal counsel is still having conversations with their legal counsel about what the next step is with respect to subdividing and reconfiguring those properties, and there might be a tentative track map with a final map, and it sounds like that's the way the Subdivision Map Act is requiring. So there's still some additional steps that will need to take place, but
I guess I'm just trying to get it, but this has nothing to do per se with the project. It only has to do with changing the zoning.
well,
To allow a project of this type to go in there.
you're approving, well, you're taking your first reading. If this, ultimately you go through a second reading, a public hearing, and you adopt this ordinance, you are, in essence, approving the new lot layout.
Everything else will be implementing that approval.
Okay.
Today, you're
But
not
that doesn't
approving the
mean
lot
you have
layout,
to
but
ultimately approve it at a second reading.
We could still, you could still just, we could change the zoning without approving the project.
Or, well, no,
You're doing a custom zone for
Yeah.
the specific project.
For this specific project.
So-
That was my question.
Yes.
yes.
Well, I'll stand by the first then, or the, the motion.
Okay.
You're not committing to it right now. You're considering approval and just introducing the ordinance at this
Okay.
point.
Okay, there's been a motion. Is there a second?
I second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
No,
Aye.
Aye.
no.
Okay,
Without a guaranteed wall, I can't vote for it.
okay. Roll call, please, Mike.
Councilmember Davis,
No.
Hutchins,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Martina,
Yes.
Mayor Caton.
Yes. Okay. All right.
So Mayor, just as a follow-up, I know the legal counsel is here, and he'll be contacting his client. I will also be contacting his client,
Okay.
and we'll start those conversations. So hopefully, a lot of this can be resolved, at least to bring some potential solutions at your November 12th meeting,
That'd be great.
before you would take any kind of final action.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
I've been directed to call him as soon as I leave here.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Rod. Okay, move to item 11, from Supervisor DeMartini.
Good evening, Mayor Caton, council members. As you know, the Biggest Loser contest finished up Thursday, October 17th at the Patterson School District. The winner this year was Patterson Health and Fitness with a 120-pound weight loss. Newman came in second with a very respectable 71 pounds. And Patterson was by far the distant third, although they did win last year. It shows you the variation from year to year. I think the whole project was very successful this year, from the beginning of the Health Summit at the West Side Theater to its conclusion at the Patterson School District. We're bringing awareness to a healthier lifestyle and eating and exercising, and I think that we did accomplish that. I'd also, again, like to thank the City of Newman for hosting that Health Summit at the beginning of the weigh-in, and because it's a very nice facility. Anyway, now the next thing the Healthcare Task Force is doing is the Art and Essay Contest. That is going on now. The judging will be November 18th at the Patterson School District office at Keystone Industrial Park. And at that time, we will pick the winners and make our calendar up for 2014. The awards we're going to be giving at the school districts for the winners of the Art and Essay Contest will be in Patterson on December 2nd, Newman on December 3rd, and Gustine School District on December 11th. And so that's where we are with that. And the next meeting of the task force will be right here in Newman on December 12th. That's all I have this
Okay.
evening.
Thanks. Any questions or comments for Jim? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, item 12, items from the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple key announcements. Council couple months ago, you authorized the purchase of a modular office for the Public Works Department. That building is now set up and all computerized and ready to go, so now our staff can get in there and do their work orders in there. They can do their training exercises in there. I know our Public Works Superintendent, Mr. Milan, will have a new office in there, and it's also freeing up space for more storage of supplies and stuff in the old corporation yard, so it's going to come in handy, and it's looking good. One, I'd like to publicly thank Mr. Perfecto Milan. He's been our interim Public Works Director for the last couple of months, and he's done a commendable job, and he's really worked hard for this city and doing a great job of trying to keep operations and maintenance going, but still taking care of some administrative duties that are necessary for the department, and he's done a very commendable job, and I want to publicly thank him for that. With that being said, Mr. Kasun Kim is on schedule, and he will be starting on November 1st. That'll be his first day as the new Public Works Director for the city of Newman. Although he has been already working for the city of Newman, we just submitted a Prop 84 grant application for a $3 million project, and he probably put in 30 or 40 hours in on that project, reviewed all the work, came down on his days off and attended meetings with our city engineer, and helped with some of the design, overlooked and oversaw the final application before it was submitted. So I think it just goes to show that our selection of Mr. Kim to be our next Public Works Director is not going to be in vain. He's going to work very diligently for the city, and I think he's already shown it, even though he hasn't officially started with the city until November 1st. So just so that everybody know that our offices will be closed on November 11th in observance of Veterans Day. And then we have 2 meetings remaining on your calendar this year. The first meeting in November, the second meeting in November 26th, is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So typically you have canceled that meeting, so we're going to stack up the 12th and make sure that you still have that free to travel.
No, we want to be here on the 26th, right?
We will not be here on the 26th.
But everybody wants to be here.
Everyone wants to be here? We can make it work if you want.
I'm going to be sick.
And then also, if you'd like, we could be here on December 24th.
And on the 25th.
And on December 24th.
As long as you're here, we'll be here.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and cancel that meeting for you as well. So, and then lastly, I'd like Mayor Caton and Councilmember Hutchins sit on our Public Safety Subcommittee for the council. I'm going to ask them to convene and meet with me a little bit on some. We've had some discussions about our fire department and things that are happening on the west side with West Stanislaus Fire Protection District and City of Patterson and Newman. So I'm asking them to look at their schedules to meet with me again so we can have some further discussions on that and see about if we want to, again, schedule something with West Stan and the City of Patterson. But I think we need to have an internal meeting first, so I wanted to let the council
Do you have
know
any dates in mind?
You just tell, if you two can get your schedule together, I'll make it work for me. So we can do that offline.
Okay.
If it works a little bit better for you. And that's all that I had for you tonight.
Any questions or comments from Michael? Okay, we'll go to staff. Chief?
Evening, Mayor, council members. Just one quick thing. In November, we will start our 3rd annual Tickets for Tots. So we will be issuing citations in a warning fashion for soliciting donations. It's not mandatory that people donate, but it's just basically people that we would normally warn. We'll give them a piece of paper that could go along with their donation that they could bring in for the Toys for Tots campaign. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the chief? Thank you. Chief? Stephanie?
Just wanted to let the council know that staff's been diligently working on the USDA loan and grant application, and we should have it submitted soon. I spoke with the grant writer today, and she hopes to get it in within the next week or 2. We're just waiting on a few final details from the architect, and you just get a few more numbers together for the construction budget. Also wanted to let the council know that the city received many compliments on our downtown revitalization efforts. The city was invited to speak on a panel at the APA conference in Visalia. That's where I was at our last council meeting. So I spoke on behalf of the city to talk about our downtown revitalization, our plaza, and we got a lot of applause, so I just want to let the council know that our good work is appreciated statewide.
Great. Thanks, Steph. Any other questions or comments? Luke?
Evening, Mayor and council members. The September Treasury reports are in your inbox, if you have grabbed them already. Our annual street and the state controller's office reports have been filed for fiscal year 2012 and 13, and we're expecting a first draft of our financials this week. Also, the assistant finance director of the city of Kerman and some of their staff are planning to be out here on Thursday to visit our finance department, see how our software is set up. They're looking at setting up their facility similar to ours with our same software and using our policies and procedures.
Great. We're setting the standard, huh?
Set the standard.
That's great. Any comments or questions for Luke? Perfecto. Nothing?
No.
Well, you're not going to get off that easy. What's going on with Canal School Road?
Canal School Road. Well, everything's been ordered. The light pole's been ordered. About maybe weekly time, and the light's been ordered. According to the company that's selling that beacon line, the flashing beacon line, it's supposed to get here tomorrow. So I'm hoping that by next week that's set up. The light pole, we're thinking probably December. Takes about 7 more weeks to get here.
For the PG&E pole?
No, no,
for the pole for that light?
For the light.
What's going on with PG&E? Have we gotten anything leeway or headway with them? We're talking about putting a new stop or
Streetlight, yeah.
streetlight, right?
Right, the street light, yes. We will be connecting into an existing panel, the
Okay.
pump panel.
Okay.
There is plenty of room for a 120, 150 volt light.
Great.
So we'll trench in our pump station property. Everything's set, it's just a matter of getting the pole and the light.
Good.
Mayor, it made more sense for us to bypass PG&E and just do it ourselves and,
You know,
and plug it into our
I
own
wondered about that.
electrical system.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Perfecto did a great job working with our local electrical company
Yeah,
to make
great.
those arrangements.
Great. I'm sure that'll make everybody out there happy. Okay, very good. Any questions coming for Perfecto?
Thank you for everything you've done, Perfecto. We
Thanks
really
a lot.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Okay, council members, Councilmember Hutchins,
Nothing tonight.
Councilmember Davis.
I feel this project that we were given tonight is very unsafe if there's no solid wall there.
Okay, and I think that's why staff's going to work with the developer and hopefully try to come up with something and that will, and I share your concerns, and that's why hopefully they'll take a look at it and come up with some kind of resolution.
I know the speed limit there is 35, but people go there at 50 all the time.
Yeah. Okay, Councilmember Martina?
I just want to comment, the citywide fall cleanup, thanks to the city, and I don't know how many people took advantage of it in the city of Newman, but, you know, this is kind of thing that really helps our city because people that have things that they normally can't get rid of, they have an opportunity to take them down to corporate yard, and, which I did, I took advantage of it, so everyone out there, take advantage of it. You know, these cleanup are perfect for getting our town to look nice.
Mayor, if I may add, please don't put your stuff out on the street curb until November 1st, because that's when our street pickup occurs. So you're starting to see brush pile up in the street. The curbside street
Yeah.
brush pickup does not, that does not begin until November 1st. But Berlotti has, Perfecto again has been in contact with Berlotti, and they're supposed to come in that very first week and start scooping some of that stuff up immediately. So, as you can see, it's starting to build up in the community, because I think people sometimes get confused with the two different dates.
Okay. Okay, and the only thing I have is a couple things is, I have a notice from the VFW, the Veterans Foreign Wars, Joseph G. Rose, post number 7635, inviting Newman council members, and I always attend this, I know Councilmember Hutchins goes quite a bit, and it's a neat program on Veterans Day, November 11. They have their parade starts at 11, the program's at 11:30, and I think they even normally feed you something down there, so it's a great program. So if you're available on November 11th, the Veterans Day program in Gustine, it's a great program, and if you're able to attend, that would be great. And the other thing, and Jim, you're going to get it from me again, I think, you know, as a city, I'm disappointed again that the county has again thumbed their nose at us, and there's no settlement. And again, it's like I told you Wednesday night, I'm just disappointed that you feel that we should negotiate for funds that we believe already belong to us. And so there's not going to be any negotiation as far as the city of Newman is concerned. We feel that we're entitled to the PTAF funds, and obviously you and your council feel differently. So I'm disappointed that the city of Newman and the other cities have been basically rejected by Stanislaus County again. And I viewed the video from the meeting. Although, nobody outright said, it was wrong, but everybody concurred that if there is a legal standing, that cities should be made whole. Supervisor Grover made that comment, and you agreed, that Stanislaus County should step up and make cities whole. If there's a legal challenge, and there has been legal challenges, and the counties so far haven't won yet. Every county's been made to pay, and I don't see Stanislaus County being any different. But what has happened is, in my mind, has driven a wedge between the cities and the county. And it's unfortunate because we're supposed to be working together, and that's just not happening. So, again, I want to vent my frustration on behalf of the city of Newman that for the PTAF, that Stanislaus County, again, has thumbed their nose at us. And cities are going to stay together, and Supervisor O'Brien said, I guess we'll see you in court. So it's unfortunately going to get there, but that's what's going to happen. So with that being said, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Question?
Yes.
Could we possibly go back to item 7 for a moment? I was detained by one of my clients. It'll only take a moment.
Sure. Step up and state your name.
Item 7? What was item 7?
Item from the public.
Oh, okay.
Yes, my name is Manuel Salazar. I am a resident of Placerville, California. I lived here in Newman for 16 years. I'm the town artist. I do all the signs for all the businesses, all your holiday windows that you see out there, I do them all. Mural downtown, it's out Dos Aguas, that's my mural. I've worked with almost every business in town. Matter of fact, I think there isn't a business in town I haven't touched. I get a concern when some of my clients are, how should I say, confused as to how public things are handled when it comes to businesses. And I have a client I'm speaking for because she's kind of shy and doesn't speak well in public. And she has 2 shops here in Newman. And one of them that she's of concern with is she wants to sell. She found out after a great deal of jumping through hoops and getting things ready for sale that she couldn't sell it to the individual who wanted it. Well, this kind of put her in a great deal of distraught. Much money was spent preparing it. I helped her. And her concern was, why? And a gesture was made by the city to the owner of the flower shop who was going to take this particular location that it would be okay to move in there. Stephanie gave a call, I believe, and made a statement that if there were no incidents for a year, no accidents, people using ingress and egress from the property, things would be okay, but if anything did happen, there would be a problem. They would be asked to close. Well, the lady in question, Maria Galan, she has had a business there for 3 years, and there's never been an accident out of that property. Why is it that now there is a new thing set up for it, stating that if there is an accident, they have to close? And in the beginning, when the property was up for sale, why did they say that it could not be sold? And in the paperwork that comes out of the city, there is a section back here that states that there's florist shops are welcome in this particular area, when she was told that they were not. And this kind of made her feel very distraught. She has a chance of selling the property. So if something can be done to help her along, I would refer this to Stephanie. If she could help and assist in any which way, that would be most appreciated. And like I say, it is on your paperwork, it is allowed in that area. So, and like I say, everything that's been done has been done quickly, so that way the transaction will go through right away. So if we can get some help from the city, we'd appreciate it.
I'm not sure I understand and follow what
Mayor,
you said.
the long and the short is we have a business that wants to move to a new location. We have obviously, you know, there's parking requirements for all businesses in the particular location. This particular new business would fall one stall shy. The parking configuration of the lot does not necessarily meet city code requirements. In an effort to help facilitate this new business, we indicated, look, we're willing to work with you, we're willing to give it a try, let you try it out for a year. If it's working, we'll continue to allow you to do it. If there's issues with parking, because it's on the highway, if there's issues with ingress and egress and cars coming in and out, or, you know, there's excess traffic and it's starting to have a problem because they are short on parking spaces, then we would have to reevaluate that approval. We thought that was a fair way of doing it. You know, it's not our responsibility to facilitate transactions of real estate. But with that being said, we do pride ourselves on trying to be business friendly. In this particular case, we made the call that we would go ahead and, even though it was one space short, that we would give them the opportunity to be successful and to show us that they could operate out of that location while being short on parking and not causing any accidents on Highway 33. So that's kind of that's the long and the short of it.
Mr. Holland, if I may add, there was a drawing that was submitted from their old plans, and I think the requirement was for 6 parking spaces.
I don't know specifically.
Yeah,
but
You know, why don't we do this? I'll just encourage you or in the property owner or business owner, continue working with our staff. It sounds like to me staff has gone out of their way to try and make this work and help facilitate it.
Yeah.
We are a business-friendly community, but we also have codes that we have to follow. And it sounds like to me the staff has gone out of their way to try to make it happen. So I'd encourage you to just have her keep working with the staff and hopefully get this thing resolved. But this council can't take any action.
Well, it's just the idea that it was brought up just for public interest, just
Sure.
to find out, you know, and like I said, it's in compliance. There are 6 spaces in there without even adding a new space to there, and that doesn't include the handicap parking.
Mr. Salazar, lines on a paper and what's on the land and whether or not those meet city code requirements are different subject matters. We're willing to work with you on this and try to resolve this issue as best we can. We deal with this a lot, and I think we've come to a reasonable solution that would allow the florist shop to move into the site. We'll continue to work with you, and Stephanie, I think, has done a
she's a
job
good
of doing
worker.
that. So
You know,
we'll
she does
continue
her
to work
job
with you
well.
and try to get this thing resolved. It's not going to be resolved tonight, but
Oh, no, no,
but
we weren't
again,
looking for a result.
we think we've extended an olive branch to help facilitate the new business moving in there. But you know, we also have code requirements that we have to do in order to protect the public, and that's what we're trying to do. So we're
Well-
trying to find the balance between what the new business owner wants and protecting public health and safety.
Yeah, well, I'm aware of that, you know, so I'm willing to work with you, Steph, whatever, you know, we need to do for that. But just bringing it up so that way, you know, it's of interest for us. and
Just
for
continue
you.
working with staff and hopefully get resolved.
Very good.
Okay?
Thank
All
you,
right.
Katie.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
We're adjourned. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Probably